Hello guys, my name is Dominique and I am a mental health nurse, also known as a psychiatric nurse. I have been registered since September 2019 and I've been in post since September 2019. So for the most part of my career, I have been experiencing this pandemic, this lockdown, this new normal, which we are all trying to grow accustomed to. In addition to that, I work on a mental health ward. It's an inpatient unit. It's a 12-bedded unit, and I work within CAMS. CAMS is also known as a child and adolescent mental health service. So this is an inpatient ward for children of the age of 12 to 18. Last but not least, I am a member of Balham Church and have been since 2016. And I just want to thank Jess for inviting me to talk to you and provide you tips on how to support your child's mental well-being during the lockdown. So, my first tip would be to talk with them about what's going on, keeping communication as open as you can. Let them know that it's okay to feel however they're feeling, whether that's angry, sad, upset, frustration, anything. Just start the conversation and be as open as you can about your own feelings so that they know that you're as invested in the conversation as they are. My second tip would be to try to answer your child's questions and reassure them in an age-appropriate manner. While you don't need to know all the answers or know what's happening in a month's time or know every single thing to do with the tier 4 restrictions, what to do, what we can't do, what's allowed, what's not allowed, just ensure that you talk things through with them, as this can help them to feel calmer. My third tip would be encourage your child to do all the things that help them when they're finding things a bit difficult. And it will be different for everyone. It could include things like doing exercise, going for a walk, watching a favourite film. It could be reading a favourite book. It could be involving them in cooking dinner or baking. Or talking to friends, or drawing or writing. So it's an activity which your child thoroughly enjoys. My fourth tip would be to reassure them that this will pass. You're here for them and you will get through this together. Having returned to some of their normal activities or going back to school, whether this could be virtual, at least this will provide some structure and routine to their day, even though we may not know what the future holds. Just let them know that the pandemic will not last forever, even though it feels like it's going on and on and on. My fifth tip would be to spend time doing a positive activity together. This can help them to feel calmer by giving them a short break from everything that's going on. It's also a great way of providing a space for them to talk through their concerns without having the big chat. My final tip would be to keep as many regular routines going as possible to help your child feel safe and secure. This can include things like having regular times for going to bed, waking up, eating meals and doing hobbies. One thing that we instill on the ward is a structure to their daily routine. So for you guys at home, this could involve waking them up in the morning, getting them ready to shower. Once they're showered, they can have breakfast. Once they've had breakfast, then they can prepare for their first session of school if this is being done virtually. If your child needs access to mental health services during the lockdown, they can still access emotional support from helplines, text lines, and online chat services anytime they need to. Organisations such as Childline, the Samaritans, Young Minds, these are all organisations that provide 24/7 support. They also provide online, phone and counselling support as normal. And you can find other organisations offering the same support for young people around specific mental health issues such as anxiety, depression and self-harm, and also eating problems. If you are worried about your child's mental health and need professional support, your first point of contact will be your GP. So call them as normal, explain the situation and just get in touch. It's important that you know that you won't be wasting anyone's time. You may still be offered a face-to-face appointment, or they may speak to you over the phone, or they offer a video call. To book an appointment without going into the surgery, just contact them via phone, use their online contact service, just Google it and get in touch. If your child is already being treated by a child and adolescent mental health service, so they're within the CAMS services or another mental health service, many are still offering telephone services, online support in place of meeting face-to-face or in groups. So still get in touch with the service or your child's key workers who they may be allocated to discuss anything that you need to, including how the pandemic might be affecting their treatment. Since March last year, we have had a spike in our admissions, so we've had quite a lot of young people being admitted to our ward, and this is because of the uncertainty around the lockdown. Many have experienced bereavement, they've had the loss of school, which provided structure to their day, so they are spending more time at home, and these are environments in which they are finding it difficult to thrive in. So there might be parental mental illness at home, there might be domestic violence within the home, or they may be children who are under care and the routine which was being provided by school has now been taken away. And so they are unable to have the escape in which they used to, they're no longer seeing friends. If your child experiences a mental health crisis and they need urgent care, you can seek professional support in the following ways. So if you're worried that your child is at immediate risk of harm to themselves or others, and you don't feel as if you can keep them safe at home, or they have already injured themselves, please call 999 or take them to A&E if you can. If the situation is not life-threatening and a health professional has already given you a crisis number to call in that situation, please call that number. Or if your child is already under the care of CAMS or another mental health team and they have a crisis and contingency plan which has been collaborated on with you and the young person, then please contact who is on that form when they need urgent care and follow that plan. You can also contact your local NHS mental health support line or 111 for urgent advice. Another trigger in which we have seen with all of the referrals who have been admitted to our ward is that they've experienced some form of bereavement or trauma during this pandemic, during this lockdown. So grief or bereavement without normal daily routines and face-to-face support networks can be very difficult. On top of normal feelings of grief and loss, your child, as well as you and the rest of your family, may not have been able to be with your loved one. A lot of us have experienced the loss of a loved one, and due to the way how the hospitals have been, we may not have been able to be with them in their final moments. And this may feel painful and difficult to accept. So there are a lot of resources out there, and I will provide Jess with these resources so that you guys can access them in your own time. The final thing that I'd like to highlight to you guys and discuss is the access to the internet. Because our children are no longer going to school and having a formal, structured routine to their day, they're spending more time on their devices. We need to be careful about what they are accessing and the materials that they are accessing online. One thing that we are strict about on the ward is accessing their devices during school sessions. So what I would encourage you guys to do is to strike a balance with the amount of time that they spend on their phone with other activities. And this can be challenging, as we all know, especially when they are spending a lot of their time at home and in their bedrooms. So try to set your own rules about their screen time, such as thinking how often they check the news or how often they use social media. This can help you to encourage and promote healthy boundaries. Try to involve them and collaborate with them around how they would use their screen time. A lot of them will tell you that they're using social media to stay in touch with friends or loved ones, but it might also make them feel anxious or nervous or worried and upset. If social media is making them feel like this, then you could suggest that they take a break or limit their social media use. You could also suggest that they change what they look at. For example, they might decide to view particular groups or pages, but not scroll through news feeds or timelines, which they don't find particularly helpful at times. Lastly, Your child or your teenager might be feeling a mixture of emotions about the coronavirus and the current situation, and this can be really worrying and stressful for the both of you. We are living through a period of change and uncertainty, so it's natural to feel upset or unsure about what to do. Just reassure them as much as you can. Talk about things with them in an open and honest way. Be honest about your own feelings as a parent, and just remind them that they are not alone and there are lots of things that you can do to support each other.